Welcome back to New Game Plus TV on tour, and we're here at the Game Expo. I'm Jack. I'm here with Em and with Irina. Irina, you've been doing a little bit of work here at the show. I think it's fair to say that you're sort of New Game Plus alum. You've been to events like BAM, like Tech Games Fest. You kind of mentioned to me off camera before we started filming that this kind of fills a pretty solid niche at this point in the year.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel that way about TGX. Like basically, when it comes to anime events and game events, you always have this like weird sort of intersection where you've got ones which are too big, which have so many people coming through, or you've got ones which are so small that there's barely anyone that are going to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like TGX is this really nice like sort of con that's right in the middle, where we've got a lot of people who are very passionate about their own communities coming in, but it hasn't been blown up so hugely that it's just sort of, I guess, been sanitized to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So yeah, TGX I feel feels that really nice niche for sure.
I mean, being the Game Expo, obviously there's a big focus on video games, and we've been playing quite a few of them here. I mean, you certainly have been as well. But I think there's a pretty good mix of games here, and a good amount to that point as well, because you were saying that like big shows like PAX Australia, it can be quite a lot. There's a pretty good mix of games here.
No, I think so. I think it's definitely a lot more balanced this year as well. Like they kind of have like a good focus of like games in the center of the convention.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been nice. There's been a nice diversity of things. There's a chess game that I really want to check out.
Yeah.
It's like super plus chess or something. Extra chess. More.
Chess Plus.
Chess plus, yeah.
We've got a good mix of like video games and also board games.
Yes.
But I guess there's also like that mix coming from the team behind, Battle Arena Melbourne, right? There's going to be the fighting game stuff. And then, you've had plenty of time behind the desk at an artist alley, right? Walk me through, I guess, your first impressions of the fighting game stuff in the artist alley here at the Game Expo.
Oh yeah, when it comes to the FGC stuff, like just given the people who sort of run this event, they've all been around the block before, so they know what they're getting into.
We're all getting on.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to like how things have been structured and whatnot, it's always really lovely. Like everything seems to be run on time. We've got plenty of tournaments which are properly structured with TOs who know exactly what they're doing and are passionate about the communities that they're participating in. And also we've got this really lovely sort of influx of people who obviously are competing, but then you've got heaps of spectators who are now actually interested in competing as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely helping a lot of, I think, kids and just people who just people who don't know too much about FGC or even know that it exists. A lot of people are getting their sort of first introduction to it here, which is great. And when it comes to Artist Alley, like in my experience, like I definitely haven't been through the whole circuit like some other artists have, but in my experience,
quite a lot of them here.
There really is. Like I think what I found most surprising is that Melbourne is home to quite a few cons that have very sizable artist, alley sections. But the thing is, at least for me as an artist, you want to strike that balance of like not having too many artists where, there's just people are too spoiled for choice and not many people are able to sort of, make a profit. And you don't...
It's kind of like at a supernova, really.
Yeah. And there's also, you don't want it to be too small where like, not people just aren't even able to stock things properly. And I think TGX also, similar to what I was saying before, it hits that nice niche where the artist alley is this decent size. You've got this really beautiful blend of just, sort of new artists coming in and also veterans who are also have been around to these events before. And it's this really beautiful blend of just also video game stuff, anime, and just even like comics and stuff as well. So it touches on everything.
It's also a really good time of year to have it, because I think we were speaking about this, a little bit earlier too, that a lot of the events tend to be on sort of the shoulder seasons. You don't want it in the middle of summer where people are going to be sweaty and hot and uncomfortable. You don't want it during the middle of winter when half of Melbourne is experiencing seasonal depression or something along those lines. It's just a beautiful day, and I think it's going to be a beautiful weekend here in Melbourne for the event as well. But I guess that's sort of our first impressions on the Game Expo. Let's go and play some games and see what's offer on the show.
Hey, it's Em. We're at TGX 2025 and I'm here with Josh Caratelli, who is one of the developers behind Chess Plus. It's not just chess, it's better. Can you tell me why that is?
Yeah, fantastic. Great to see you again. So yeah, it's Chess Plus. It's not just chess, it's better. It's a slight variant on chess where you can combine pieces and move them as either piece, and also split them as well. So say, for example, you've got a rook, move up, down, left, and right. You've got a bishop, can move in diagonals. If you chuck them together, you've got yourself a queen, which is great. The kicker is, though, if that piece is captured, you lose both pieces. So yeah, a bit of a slight variation on chess. And even for the chess diehards here today who are very into the traditional chess, they've come and played and gone, oh, I get it. It's not changing the game too much, but enough to make it a chess 2.0 actually. So yeah.
The stakes feel a little bit higher, but it also opens up the board for more possibilities.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of chess these days, people get really into it with different openings as well. With Chess Plus, it has its own unique openings, but because it's still chess at its core, you end up with very interesting moves where, for example, you might combine with a rook and a pawn and make a corn, as we call it, and then rocket it across the board, end up with yourself another queen, which you can promote to as well, which is fantastic.
I remember you saying there was like a little bit of a story behind the creation of this game as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Christian, who is the founder of Chess Plus, he was playing with Amy, who's here today as well. And when she was a lot younger, they were learning how to play chess together. Now, Amy decided to put the two pieces together, and instead of going, hey, sorry, that's not how you play chess, instead, it's like, let's keep playing like that. And after a while, they went, wow, this is really, really fun. Ended up making the Chess Plus board game from that as a result. And then a number of years later, I've come along and gone and actually bought this as a present for a friend of mine and went, wow, this is like, not even as a chess player, this is really, really like novel and fun. So I came along to start doing the digital version as well, which is really exciting.
I love that. It kind of like opens up chess in a bit more of an accessible way for people that might not know how to play as well. What's the response kind of been like from players that have played?
Yeah, the response has been fantastic, especially at TGX here this weekend. You have a range of different people with different chess abilities. So people who are die-hard into chess, who know their ELO rating off the top of their head. And yeah, they're really like acclimatized to the game and gone, okay, I see the different strategies and possibilities. Still chess at its core, but a bit more strategy behind it, which is fantastic. And for people who aren't chess diehards, they've really enjoyed learning to play chess in a different way, and also playing the digital version, which is Chess Plus on Steam. And having the digital version, we can see how the different moves come together and how you can split from the different pieces as well. Like, it's been a really, really great experience, actually.
So you're showing off the digital version as well on the show floor. How's the response been to that?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. The digital version's still in development. You can actually wish this stuff on Steam right now. Please do. And yeah, it's been great because we're working in isolation with the game for quite a while, and we're like, how's the response going to be? And it's been phenomenal, right? Especially on the digital version too, being able to see where the pieces can move and the extra pizzazz you can get with the art style and effects and stuff. It's been a really good lifting spirit. It's great to show it off both to the people who are attending and also other developers here as well.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your TGX.
Yeah, fantastic. And to you as well. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you serve? This is too dangerous for me to hold. I feel great. We're at the Game Expo. We played a little bit of Foodomina, which is a fun little 8-bit kind of story-driven adventure game about the battle between the food people and the mold people. It centers on two characters, Takoyaki and Tempura, who in my headcanon are married, which was confirmed to me by the dev team. Don't quote me. It kind of blends together the soundtrack of Coffee Talk with like some ambient lo-fi space-y music with the visuals of like Hi Puffy Amiyumi, which I don't know if anybody remembers, but I do. A lot of the dialogue was like kind of catty, which I enjoyed. Like at one point the mold people came out and she said, "Oh my god, a mold." And if a 13-year-old yelled that at me on a street corner, I fear I would never recover. So I did enjoy the kind of sassy, catty dialogue that was incorporated in it. The gameplay was fun. It kind of like was a little Pokemon-y, like it would just stop you in your tracks and then you'd be in a battle. Yeah, so you had the option whether to attack, act, or cure. And there was another one, but I can't remember. But the acting ones were like asking them questions, complimenting them, trying to like persuade them to give you more information on what the cure was. Or you could choose to just attack. I chose the more pacifist route and I tried to like ask them questions because at the end of the day, I just think we should be nicer to each other, and I like to reflect that in the games that I play. So I like that they gave me the option not to be mean. After you could choose whether to attack or act, or cure, it took you to this like mini game, and you had to like dodge all of these mold spores that they were like shooting at you. And then after that, you could go back and choose which cure to use on them. All in all, I think it was a pretty good demo, and it was a good length. It kind of like fed you the story in a very accessible way. I feel like anytime there's anything super lore heavy, I find it very hard to follow quickly. So I kind of got the gist of it from the demo. And the dialogue, the catty, sassy dialogue, which I loved. And it was just a lot of fun. It was very cute and retro and nostalgic, and it was a lot of fun. I liked it. Foodomina. We played a little bit of Pluto Lost Its Colors. We're kind of doing a lot of games in space today, which is really fun. It's a physics-based platformer. I think you are Pluto. You are the ball. Be the planet. Let your body be the Pluto at the end of the day. A lot of the environments are very like futuristic, like very pinky, lots of color, very nice Zen garden kind of vibes. You bounce around through different platforms and you can roll up walls. There were a lot of like skinny bits that were kind of hard. But I think that's the good thing about platformers, is that it reinforces the idea that you just got to try again. It's always accessible when it puts you back in, you know what I mean? You just got to dust yourself off and try again. And that's what I did, because I was getting frustrated and my hands were shaking and sweating, but in a fun way. I think it really runs that dopamine part of my brain that just wants to bounce around and just be a little guy in space. There were these asteroids that looked like little rock guys, so you kind of had to avoid them, and there were like little rock explosions, I guess, that would kind of bounce you back. So you had to sort of like navigate those environmental enemies, I guess. The big challenge is just getting past the narrow spaces. I think skinny is a hard goal to reach just in life. And that reflects in my gaming life as well. I think if you like precision-based platformers, you'll have a really good time with this one. It sort of had those like Super Mario Galaxy kind of platformer inspirations as well. So if you like that sort of level design, it's really fun. And yeah, just be a little guy and bounce around in space. I did, and I had a great day. TGX.
Hi, my name's Jono Kovac, and I am the solo developer of Pedal Rebel VR.
What is Pedal Rebel VR?
What is Pedal Rebel VR? What is a game? No, so this is a exercise bike VR game. Let me break that down. You're in VR, you're playing on an exercise bike, but in the game, you're in the cyberpunk world, riding a super souped up motorbike, dodging cars, having fun.
Who's working on the game? And I guess walk me through like some of the different aspects of the development so far.
Sure, so apart from a bit of the music that I've got with some of my friends that have like helped me with the development of putting some music in there, I'm completely solo, so I've been doing all the art, all the programming, all of that. But I'm using it as a learning experience to like really get me into game development, so I can learn all the roles and then hopefully put a team together and we can make it even better.
What are some of the challenges of learning all of the tools you need to like make a game like this compared to, you know, your background in multimedia production previously?
Yeah, so my background in media has really helped me a lot with the visual aspect and like putting all of the different elements together of audio and visuals and all of that. But yeah, like it's been a real test, like learning all of these programming languages, learning the system, just learning Unity in itself. But I feel like my background has really helped me learn how to learn, and now the rest is just time and just putting in those reps and getting it happening.
Where has the game been shown before, and I guess what has the kind of reception been that you've gotten at shows previously?
Sure, so we started just doing local events in Adelaide, so AvCon, and then also Sage. But we've also managed to have the opportunity to travel to Sydney and go to South by Southwest, which was just an amazing experience. We were sort of in that expo space area, so we were kind of open to like a more public crowd, not just gamers, and that was so essential for getting like the right kind of play testing and just like feedback from people coming to try my game. Really, really good to like kind of look at that broader audience, because I think everybody wants to play a fun fitness game that like actually is engaging and gets them to want to do it more.
how does the Game Expo kind of compare to AvCon, Sage, South by Southwest in particular? Tell me about your experience at the show.
Yeah, so TGX has been really fun. I've never attended before. This is my first time being here at all, but it definitely has that kind of AvCon vibe. So there's like the cosplay, you've got the artist alley, and you've got all these awesome like stalls around. But then we've got this game dev area where everyone's just like showing off their cool games. Some really cool board games and some tournaments and stuff going on. And yeah, it's just that same community. So we just love it. It's just a bit bigger because it's in Melbourne.
If people want to find out more about Pedal Rebel VR, where can they go?
Yeah, we're Pedal Rebel VR on everything. You can wishlist us on Steam. You can see all the development and everything on our Instagram. And yeah, check out our website as well. And we'll hopefully have a demo out on the Meta Store very soon.
Jono, thank you very much.
Cheers.
And that is a wrap on the Game Expo 2025. And I decided to drag in Liam from 508, also from this TV show that you might be watching right now, New Game Plus TV on tour. Well, you haven't been on tour, but you've been on New Game Plus maybe a few times.
Yes, I was part of it from for a lot of the 10 years that we were on the show, doing a lot of the sort of plus, like magic, comics, the other sides of things besides just video games. Which I guess is what sort of appeals to me about going to events like this is the sort of broad range of things that are here.
Yeah, for sure. And it is a very, diverse show, and it had a lot of really good energy about it. And I kind of want to come back to that a little bit later. But given you're here and given, your wheelhouse really is tabletop games, tabletop section has always had a pretty decent presence here at TGX over the last 3 years. But I feel like it's gotten busier, it's gotten bigger. And as much as the artist alley feels more alive, the gaming section feels more alive, tabletop section has grown pretty organically and it feels pretty full-featured. You played a few games today.
I have. I think the big elephant in the room to sort of talk about when we talk about the Game Expo is it's not PAX.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of show. And I think maybe towards the start it sort of was like trying to be like its own little mini version of PAX. It's sort of moved away from that because it is... Tabletop is part of this show, but it's one of many things that are here. So it doesn't have the same sort of big companies coming in and sort of demoing the new release games. It doesn't have as big a game library or free play area, but it does have a series of indie creators who have got their local designs, often quite polished and complete and for sale, as well as a library that's not huge but it has some decent titles in it, and it's a free play area, and as well as TCG, Mahjong, Blood in the Clock Tower. So there's quite a few different elements.
Well, I think that's also maybe something to point out, because I think talking about video games on a video game show, first of all, wild. A lot of the demos that you'll see on the show floor at an AvCon, a PAX, TGX, a lot of these game demos are for unreleased games. They are in development. They are actively seeking, feedback on. I mean, there are games on the show floor here that are almost like, they're not grey box necessarily, but they're trying out different things. Whereas at a PAX, it's kind of more so about trying to get wish lists. Maybe they are showing off release games, all the rest of it. Tabletop games, a lot of these games are actually available for sale on the floor.
Yeah, so most of them I think were are pretty complete and available, where other shows do have that element of there are some in progress games and in development. This is more try out these games, and if you like it, you can purchase them.
So what were some of the games you played?
So first game I played was called Survival of the Fattest, which was sort of nature, animals, and cutesy animals are a big sort of thing in board games now. It's sort of a low barrier to entry, and but it's a game where you are a deck building worker placement game. So you are trying to collect different fruits and food from the forest to feed your animals, to recipes, and sort of do it in a way where you're sort of outmaneuvering your opponents. That was a game that was available to play and purchase.
Cool. Yeah. And you've played a few other games. I mean, it's interesting to see the kind of variety of games that are on offer here. I think when we think about video game demos, you don't want to have people thrown into deep lore or whatever else. But with a tabletop game, they're often designed so that you learn as you go. It's a bit of a different experience.
Yeah, well, that was a big box game. It probably takes 90 minutes to play. So we didn't play the whole game. We're sort of learning and played the first sort of quarter. And sort of okay, we've got the game loop. We've got a couple of turns. You sort of understand how the game plays. Now let's check out some other stuff. And they said, oh, you can keep playing if you want. And I'm like, well, Jack needs me to film. I gotta play some other games. But yeah, no. So you can get a sense of games without playing all of it. Sometimes there is. You play too many demos and you don't feel quite as satisfied, but you can get a good sense of the game. And sometimes a game up here 5 minutes and you play the whole game, and you can enjoy that as well. One of the other games was an abstract 2-player game, abstract strategy game called Outfox, which was sort of a 4 or 5 in a row game. So. Not Connect 4, but like it has that element of like you are maneuvering pieces around to try and sort of outplay and outmove your opponent and get in a row on a grid. So a fairly simple design, but has a little bit of strategy, a little bit of thinking to it. It is one of those, it's a fairly common sort of mechanic or goal in abstract strategy games, but they had like a pretty good presentation here as well.
And the last game that you played?
The last game I played was Forest Floor, which is a card game for 2 to 4 players, or 2 to 5 players. We played 2-player. Sort of a head-to-head, sort of set collection game where you're trying to play out cards and as you play cards, they're going to do actions to try and get a set of different cards. It was quite a mean game, and those sort of games, if you go in knowing that, it's fine, because you are sort of disrupting and destroying your opponent's plans. So
you're trying to grief as much as possible.
Exactly. And those sort of games, if you go in knowing that and you both play or everyone plays that sort of level, it's fun. If you go in people not expecting that, that's when you get some feel bads. But yeah, no, it was a pretty fast and fun game that had some good actions to it.
Good stuff. I guess a final wrap-up of the Game Expo. You know, this is a show that's now in its 3rd year. I think the first year, it's fair to say, was, you know, it was not a pilot event as such, but it was its first year. It was getting a sense of like, okay, cool, what kind of community support can we have? What kind of indie games, video games can we have? What kind of tabletop games can we have? I recall the first year, I'm not sure if the second year had speedrunners there. There was a speedrunning part. That's actually not here now, which is a little bit sad for me because I love a speedrun marathon as well. But the diversity and I think the energy on the show floor felt to me very much like a breath of fresh air, where the sections, the video game section is not as big as a PAX Rising, the tabletop section is not as big as the entire second half of Melbourne Convention Centre, and the artist alley is not as big as you would see at a Supernova, but the energy and the like positivity, I guess, it's weird to like say there is a positive energy from this event, but like I feel like a PAX nowadays, people, it's such a well-known beast that people kind of go in a little bit like wary almost. And this is broadly from an exhibitor's perspective, right? Like attendees, very, very different kind of experience. You're there to see friends, you're there to find your community, meet up with your community. I think for exhibitors, and I think a lot of the people that we speak to on the show floor at a PAX are, you know, half my PAX is mostly welfare checks. Whereas here, there's not too much going on. There's not too many people here. There's not too much stuff to see. It's not overwhelming in the same way that a PAX or a Supernova kind of are nowadays.
Well, I think the thing with tabletop is, like in the tabletop free play area, there was a group of people playing Monopoly. There was someone playing like Uno, Game of Life, and then also some sort of hardcore hobby games. So go to PAX or like a board game like event, or not necessarily a convention, but like, you know, a multi-day event, and you are there to play hobby games for the time. Yep. Here, I think it's more of a case of, I don't think you could spend 2 days in the tabletop section, but if you enjoyed, as we were sort of talking about the vibe, you could definitely play a couple of games you hadn't seen before, borrow a game from the library and have some fun with friends, and then go on to the video game section, then go on and check out the cosplay and do that. So I think it's sort of understanding that this is not a tabletop event, it's an event that has tabletop. And I think that's just understanding that is then the key to your enjoyment if you're coming from a tabletop side of it. Yeah.
It's good fun. That is a wrap on this episode of New Game Plus TV on Tour. If you missed part of this episode or want to catch up on previous episodes of New Game Plus TV on Tour, you can head to the website, newgameplus.tv. Watch previous episodes on youtube.com/newgameplusTV, as well as a few other features that we'll have go up there. And on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, /New Game Plus TV. Liam, thank you very much for hanging out.
Glad to be here, Jack.
Thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time.